Batal jawza. Batal jawza. Batal jawza. Beetlejuice. 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 Guanz Huang Bingdu. Guanz Huang Bingdu. Guanz Huang Bingdu. You ever notice people say to call things, if you have their name, you have power over it. And if you shed light on it, it no longer has power over you. I'm going to make this disclaimer before I start this video. Okay, this is going to be tying into the last part. If you haven't watched my part 1 titled Bat Virus, go watch that so you can basically flow into this video with no problems. I'm not a medical doctor. None of my stuff is backed up by medical science or medical claims. None of my stuff is backed up by scientific evidence or scientific fact or scientific studies. I'm not a medical doctor. Do your own research. You don't have to listen to anything I say. None of my information is based on pretty much anything but my opinions. So now with that out of the way, okay, I want you to understand something like I was mentioning in the previous video, all right? Beetlejuice. Where did this word come from? Okay? I'm going to read it to you real quickly, and I'm going to have these words in the description so that you can look them up yourself, particularly in gematria, okay? And you're going to find some interesting connections, especially when you're looking the value of these words up, okay? Particularly Batal jawza, not Beetlejuice, okay? And Guanz Huang Bingdu is actually the Chinese terminology for coronavirus or COVID-19, okay? And you know what's crazy? The distractions. Donald Trump calling it the China virus, China, or calling it COVID. I mean, all these names were basically distractions. A bunch of people will start to look these particular words up in gematria, and some may find something, some may find nothing. Now, Guanz Huang Bingdu, I basically went to search that particular name up in gematria, and the findings were very, very interesting. And the thing is that I personally added Guanz Huang Bingdu to the gematria calculator because it was never added on, which in my opinion means that nobody ever looked that particular word up. But now, if it's a China virus from China and, you know, COVID and all that, you always want to find out where these things originated from. So if it's a China virus, why are we following the way that the Americans named it? So creative. COVID-19. Co for corona, V for virus, and D for disease. And then 19 because it was discovered in 2019. So creative. So creative. So they call it COVID-19. We look this up, and then when you look up Guanz Huang Bingdu, which again I personally added in there, nobody looked it up under that terminology. Now, if it's from China, why did nobody ever look up the word or the terminology of it and how it's named in China, right? I want to read something to you, though, and you'll find this very, very interesting, okay? What is the Chinese term for COVID-19, okay? The term coronavirus, Guanz Huang Bingdu, in Chinese follows the taxonomic tradition and is a term that is used widely in non-technical publications such as newspapers, news reports, and online media. It is also the ICTV that advocates a name for the new virus that is neutral and can be used by the WHO, the World Health Organization. Okay? I'm going to read that last sentence again. It is also the ICTV that advocates a name for the new virus that is neutral. Now, why is it a bat virus? Okay? Supposedly they said that a Chinese girl or a female, I don't know if she was Chinese or from another country, was eating a bat, and that this spread the disease of this novel virus called the COVID-19, which did a lot of damage when it was at the peak of its mark, right? I want to read something to you real quickly, though. Beetlejuice, okay? And Beetlejuice, I'm not spelling it Beetlejuice like in the movie. I'm spelling it Betelgeuse, like Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, okay? I'm going to read something to you from according to Wikipedia, okay? So, as we know, it's called COVID-19 because it started in 2019, okay? 2019, to be exact, in December of 2019, the very last month of the year, okay? So, it was a full-blown pandemic in March of 2020, okay? So, I'm going to read something to you here real quickly because in part 1, we talked about influenza. Influenza comes from the word influence of the stars, okay? The short word would be the flu. There's viral infections, there's bacterial infections. If you watch my previous videos, I mentioned about how to address, of course, viral and bacterial. Viral, the body runs its course. You're coming in contact with something that's already in you. It's like a communion happening. So that's why they call them developing symptoms. You're not catching anything. But the whole thing is that these things are meant to come in contact with your body. You develop these symptoms and you process this virus or any virus. You have all the viruses known to man, even predating Egyptian history. You're basically a storehouse of ancient viruses. And because we are doing things, in my opinion, in the inorganic way by getting vaccinated upon being birthed into this existence, particularly with 72 vaccines, what are we blocking ourselves from? I mean, we've had topics about sun blocking. We do this ourselves by applying sunblock on our skin. But then they're also talking about blocking out the sun because of unnatural radiation and whatnot, which I think is absolutely absurd. But I want to read something to you. And by the way, none of this stuff is backed up by any... and this video is for entertainment purposes. I'm here to entertain you. This content is for entertaining you in this particular video, okay? Now, check this out. Starting in October 2019, which was 2 months before December, okay? Beetlejuice began to dim noticeably, okay? This is in October 2019. It began to dim noticeably, and by mid-February 2020, the month before was a full-blown pandemic over here worldwide, okay? Its brightness had dropped by a factor of approximately 3, from magnitude 0.5 to 1.7, then returned to a more normal brightness range, reaching a peak of 0.0 visual and 0.1 V-band magnitude in April 2023, just very recently, okay? Infrared observations found no significant change in luminosity over the last 50 years, suggesting that the dimming was due to a change in extinction around the star rather than more fundamental change. A study using the Hubble Space Telescope suggests that the occluding dust was created by a surface mass ejection. This cast material millions of miles from the star then cooled to form the dust that caused the star's dimming. It ejected something, right? So, again, influence of the stars. You are made of you're like a star man. You're made of all these elements that the stars are made of, okay? And as above, so below. Like in the Bible, they say man comes from the soil, he dies, he goes back to the soil. Which means you're made of the same material that's in the soil as well. You're a walking cloud of bacteria and viruses, okay? In fact, you're made up of more virus and bacteria than you are actually even human, okay? So when you look up this information, okay, about how the star ejected something, where do you think this pandemic or pandemonium is coming from, okay, when it comes down to this new Betelgeuse star? Okay, and they're coming out with a Betelgeuse 2, particularly in this beautiful state of time that we're in now, right? Betelgeuse 2. Amazing. I want to read something else to you now. All right. Bat. All right. Bat in Spanish is murciélago. I know these white people say murciélago, and it's not how you say it. It's just like the Lamborghini Gallardo. It's not. It's Gallardo. But anyway, murciélago. Okay? When you look up this word, this is the Latin word for bat. Murciélago is M-U-R, stands for mouse or rat. Ciego is blind. I even went deep into where the word blind came from, and it led me to the word idiot. Okay? Now, when you look up, is a bat a flying mouse? This is what it says. Although bats are small like rodents, they're more closely related to primates and humans than they are to mice and rats. Bats are extremely long-lived for their age. This is very interesting because primates in particular are the closest animals to humans. Okay? And when you look at bats, the girl ate a bat, which is more closely related to humans and primates. I mean, we are a walking virus as well. You get what I'm saying? So when you look at this, right, we say we're part of a rat race, right? And even how things in society, they do scientific experiments on lab rats, on mice and whatnot. And why? Because supposedly they're the closest thing to study that would kind of be similar to humans, I guess, right? So they use lab rats and mice. And when it comes down to this, the main ingredient in rat poison is basically fluoride, right? And these are things that are slowly dripped in your water and your food, and you know, who knows, maybe it's even in the chemtrails that's in the air. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Keep your mind straight on the fact that none of this even matters. This is just information for you know, entertainment purposes and to tie certain things in this dreamlike state that you're in, okay? But just keep in mind, all this you can use as a tool to serve you in your little beautiful dream. Merrily, 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 life is nothing but a dream, okay? I want you to listen to this though, okay? There are also vampire bats, which I'll get into in a second. Because bats particularly eat berries and, you know, all these type of things. Let's see. So now it says diminutive of a murciélago. From the Old Spanish mur, mouse, plus ciego, blind, or from Latin murus, caucus, both from the moose. Murciélago was a Navarra fighting bull who gained fame after Lamborghini chose to name a supercar after him to continue passion for it. Now, this is very interesting, okay, how they bringing in the Lamborghini when the symbol of the Lamborghini is the bull, okay? And you see, I've tied many times this video to the description of many of my videos, the ISIS thesis video, which if I have time, I'll tie it here. If not, I'll make another part. But she talks about how the pharaohs invented baseball. Okay. Now, you play baseball with a baseball bat. And in baseball, they have something called a bullpen. Okay. So when you see this, right, this is also very synchronistic to me because I got my best friends in California. And I mean, I've known them for 15 years, right? And I met them when they were just like normal middle class people. You know what I'm saying? But now they live in California and they're doing very, very well for themselves. In fact, they've invited me over there many times and I keep on like, you know, fucking looking bad because I keep telling them I'm going and I never actually go. But I think I'm going to make it a point to go this year. But they're buying their second Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow. They bought a Ferrari. A Ferrari, I forgot what model they bought. It was a Ferrari, I forgot what they bought. But basically now they're buying Lamborghinis because they bought a Rolls Royce, they bought Porsche, they bought a bunch of supercars, beautiful cars. But now they bought the Aventador, and I think they're buying the Revolte or something like that. I forgot what the name of it is. But very synchronistic because they're showing me these cars in their WhatsApp and they're telling me, hey man, you got to come down, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm running into all this information and it's like, I see the murciélago, and it's basically was a Navarra fighting bull who gained fame after Lamborghini chose to name it after itself, right? So why is this even important? All right. So when I look up Lamborghini, right? Let's look at this real quick. So look at this. Is every Lamborghini named after a bull? Okay. Yes, Lamborghini models are still named after bulls. All models in the current Lamborghini lineup are named after famous Spanish fighting bulls. The Lamborghini Huracan is named after a bull who fought in 1879. The Lamborghini Aventador is named after a bull who fought in 1993 Saratoga bullfight. Now, when you look the particular Aventador, Madonna made two videos actually with this Emilio, I forgot his last name. Did I look this up before? And he basically is in that video, and it was all about that matador, you know, and he was battling that particular bull. And I'm gonna get into the point of what I'm talking about over here in a second. In Dark Knight Rises, Batman, Bruce Wayne drove a Lamborghini Aventador, right? Because I typed in, what Lambo did Bruce Wayne drive in The Dark Knight Rises? One such car was the Lamborghini Aventador in the Dark Knight Rises. Driven by the ultra-rich, ultra-cool Bruce Wayne, the Aventador is a Lamborghini's most popular and most profitable model ever. Again, we're tying in bats with bulls over here. Okay? And now, here's the other thing I'm gonna read up on you about. Yeah, this is it. So in October 15, 1993, an 1118, well, it's an 1,100-pound bull, so 1,118-pound black bull named Aventador battled Matador Emilio Munoz in the fifth fight at the Plaza de Toros de Zaragoza. Madonna fans may remember Munoz from this appearance in two Madonna videos, Take a Bow and You'll See, from 1995. All right, now, here's the thing, though. Here's the diet of the vampire bats. This nocturnal flying mammal feeds exclusively on the blood of other animals. To eat the blood, the vampire bat is equipped with sharp incisor teeth that are used to nip a small piece of flesh. An anticoagulant in the vampire bat's saliva allows the blood to flow continuously instead of clotting. This is interesting because the first thing that came into mind was the Baphomet. And it's like, on the arms, it's written solve and then coagulate. Okay, I'm gonna make another video on that because I want to kind of break down a couple of the symbols that mean something to me when I see them. And I'm gonna watch this video over so I can keep in mind what I'm gonna be going over as far as videos go. I want to show you this real quick though. This I'm gonna turn the camera over because I want you to see this real quick. This is also very interesting as far as memes go. Okay. Let it focus. Check this out. Bane was right after all, okay? He wore a mask, canceled sporting events, quarantined the city. The root of the problem was the bat. Now, I love Bane. I even listen to his theme song when I'm working out. And when you look at the actual picture of Bane's face, Batman is right by where his eyes are at. The whole symbology is there, as if they were not all one, right? I mean, you go look at Batman and the Joker, and they are one, right? When I did the gematria search on Lamborghini, I ran into The Rock. And you know what's funny is that The Rock is Dwayne Johnson, who was a wrestler in the WWE, and he was actually the Brahma Bull in wrestling. And when you look up The Rock, it's synchronistic to me because the gematria value is 480. And The Rock, I am a rock. My name is Peter, and my name means rock. Peter is basically, the symbology of the word Peter is the rock, the first rock that was laid down to build the church. But what's even more interesting to me is that I was born in April of 1980. So that word, that number 480 and The Rock, plus I'm looking up all the other Lamborghinis. And when you look up gematria, you have to understand it's the value of whatever it is you're looking up, but there's a lot of things you're going to be running into. And gematria is kind of like when you look at things and then what sticks out to you, what's synchronistic to you, because it's your life. It's not to say that what may mean to me something has to mean something to you. You may be looking through these gematria values, and you'll see something that sticks out to you synchronistically to you particularly. You get what I'm saying? Earlier today, all right, I saw a skunk, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. and I saw a skunk in the middle of the day. And I found that to be interesting because just a couple weeks ago, I saw a possum in broad daylight in the middle of the day. You get what I'm saying? So I'm looking at these two nocturnal animals, and these things mean something to me because I'm the one that basically saw this creature. So it's there for me. You get what I'm saying? So what does it mean to me? I may go and look up the value of what that means, or I may look up what it means on Google, spiritual meaning of like seeing a possum during the day, or seeing a possum during the day, or a skunk. But then again, keep this in mind. Don't become dependent on looking these things up on Google. At the moment, what are you doing? What does it mean to you on the moment? That's when people get lost in numerology and start to look up what the meaning of these words were. What does it mean 1111? And the whole thing is you may see a lot of synchronicities because since you're looking for it, now it's going to start presenting itself to you a lot more often. And then you confuse that for actual synchronicities when it's not. You're just attracting it because of you're conditioning your mind to find it and look for it. But what does it mean to you? It's like a dream. If you're in the dream, certain things, people, places, and things are going to be in the dream. But when you wake up and you remember your dream, how did you feel in the dream? Because the same way feeling is the key here, feeling is the key in the dream. It don't matter who the fuck was there. How did you feel in the dream, and what do the people, places, and things that you saw in your dream mean to you? So when I was doing something and I saw the skunk, it meant something to me at that particular moment, right? And I put the meaning to it, whether it be bad or good. Same thing with the possum. When I saw those in the middle of the day, it means something to me. But then symbolically, how do I feel about these animals? Because I love animals in particular, but I find all animals interesting. But what was I doing in that moment for that to synchronistically appear in that moment in time and at the time that it happened? You know, and then we start to look up what the value and gematria of certain things are. You add the value to what these things are, basically the symbol of the animal, the time you saw it, and what were you doing. That's how I put my fucking shit together. The value, number, and then whatever it means right next to it. But that's my way of doing it. I'm not saying that it's going to work for you that way. Okay? So now going back to what I started was in this video, because I'm going to have to make another part because this video is going to cut off soon. But when I ran into the word idiot, right? It led me to ignorance. It led me to in the dark about things, right? Blind is where I came up with this word idiot. But blind and idiot coming together, okay? I wanted to find out, because I've heard this before, who is the blind idiot? And I didn't even put God at the end. I just put who is the blind idiot. And the blind idiot is basically Azathoth, the sleeping god, the giant. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's what's interesting. When you look this up, okay, that looks like a giant parasite, doesn't it? It looks like a parasite. And the crazy thing is that we see these things sort of like this, and we say, oh, this is in outer space. This looks like your gut microbiome. It looks like what's residing in your intestines. You get what I'm saying? And as above, so below, it's also in your soil system, which is basically why everything comes down to microbial bacterial world. But the most important thing here is that I'm going to get into a specific video on this, is the nervous system of your body, which is the electrical system of the body, and how this is compromised. How this is compromised through attack on the adrenal glands. Okay, I'm gonna make a specific video on that, and I'm saying this now so that I can remember. If you like my video, it does help if you like my video. So like